Just like football, business moves fast. And when you need funding, there's no time to wait. At Fleximize, we keep things simple. No penalties, no red cards, just fast, flexible business loans. We only ask for the essentials and you'll get a decision within 24 hours. Once approved, the funds are in your account the same day. Fleximize, let's fund your goals.
Town fans, hello and welcome back to Matchday Live, streaming as always on X, YouTube, Facebook and Town TV, proudly brought to you by a headline digital partner, Fleximize, the UK's award-winning lender offering fast, flexible business loans. Tonight, under the lights at Fratton Park, Ipswich Town are back in action against Portsmouth in the Sky Bet Championship after a huge weekend for Town. What a win at Carrow Road, which saw Ipswich move back into second place, completing a league double over their local rivals for the first time in 33 years. Worth the wait and, of course, benefiting from results elsewhere going their way to keep the promotion push firmly on track. Coming up on this evening's show, we've got full highlights and reaction from the East Anglian derby, including a player focus on Town captain Dara O'Shea, a look ahead to the final run-in, plus all the lineups, analysis and discussion with our two very special guests joining us tonight. As always, fans, we want you involved. Wherever you're watching in, send us your thoughts and predictions into the live chat for a chance to be featured on this evening's show. So welcome, Town fans, to Portman Road, the Town TV studio, of course, hosting Matchday Live. The Ipswich players, of course, at Fratton Park. Welcome to Tommy Smith and to Alan Judge back on Town TV. And we start the show, Tommy, with a big congratulations to you and your wife, Leanne, for your third baby. I mean, fantastic news. Congratulations. How's it all going?
Yeah, thank you very much, first and foremost, and it's going great so far. You know, third child, so it's taken a bit of adapting for the other two to get used to the new arrival. We tried to sort of warn them as best we could about there's going to be a bit of a change coming, so that they've been fantastic as well. And my wife's doing great, and baby Ellie has settled into life really well at home.
Oh, congratulations, Georgie. I mean, you've obviously got 3 kids yourself. As we see baby Ellie on the screen there, it's listen, it's great to have Tommy in the studio just a week after having a baby. A fantastic effort from him.
Yeah, brilliant. And as I said to Tommy when I spoke to him, welcome to the carnage. Here we go. I know I've got 2 boys as well. You know, they get on really well. But yeah, it's brilliant. New arrival. It's great for the family, isn't it? So yeah, congratulations, as I've already spoke to Tommy quite a lot.
Oh, great stuff. Well, listen, congratulations to you, and best of luck for you for what I'm sure is going to be a busy few weeks for you. Okay, there's baby fever in the air. We'll talk a bit more about that as the show goes on. But let's start with the way we all want to start the show, by looking back on a fantastic victory at Carrow Road in the East Anglian derby. It was, of course, Norwich City 0, Ipswich Town 2. Let's watch it back.
The players look focused in the tunnel. Strap yourselves in, everyone, as the players of Ipswich Town and Norwich City emerge from the tunnel here at Carrow Road ahead of the latest instalment of the East Anglian derby. What can Davis craft here? Loops it towards Jacob Greaves, who's heading it across goal. Slimane is there. Taylor's gone down and wants a penalty. He feels that he was kicked through. And
it's a pen.
And it has been awarded. It has now been awarded. His first start today since the 17th of January. Faced up by Kovacevic. It's Philogene. Philogene rolls it into the bottom corner. It gives Ipswich Town the lead on enemy territory. What a start for the Blues. More of an angle, this one from Davis. Less central, in it comes towards Hurst, this time rising, and Kovacevic has to make the save. Hurst has won it, loses his footing slightly, but then rolls it forward to Jaden Philogene, and now Ipswich are on the counter. Davis flying down the left, Philogene into the penalty area, across to Hurst! Hurst denied by the legs of Kovacevic. Norwich 0, Ipswich 1. In comes the throw from Furlong on the far side. O'Shea is rising. Philogene thinks about the acrobatic one! And George Hurst finishes it this time with one big Suffolk punch. to knock the chirpy Canaries off their Carrow Road perch. O'Shea giving it away to Magoma, and Norwich have bodies forward here. Magoma linking up with that Ali Ahmed, brilliant challenge, and he celebrates that like a goal, Darragh O'Shea. In it comes, and then Johnson doing enough. McLean's gone down. Jack Clark's going to look to carry the ball forward here, and he's looked to set Marcelino Nunez on his way. He's got support with him. Athon and Clark. Is it to Athon? It's Athon. It's denied by Kovacevic. Big chance to wrap it up for Ipswich Town. That'll be a good trip back along the A140 in those fan coaches, I reckon, this afternoon. As the final whistle blows, it's double delight for Ipswich Town. For the first time since 1992-93, it's 2 wins in a league season against their great rivals.
What a win. I'm sure all of you watching at home have seen those highlights many times since last weekend. It wasn't even that long ago. It was only a few days ago, wasn't it? But, gosh, what an amazing result for Ipswich. I mean, in the context of the season, a big result, but also, of course, it's a double over Norwich. They don't come about too often, do they? Great result, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the emotion, the league standings, all the pressure that goes into that game, and to come out with a positive result is absolutely fantastic. And to finally beat them at Carrow Road after, I think it was 20 years, was another monkey off our back. And it gives us now the platform to really go on and take control of that second place in the league.
Yeah, it does. How impressed were you with the way Town played, Judgy? Because fairly in control. Norwich obviously had a high press, they had chances, but they didn't really test Walton too much. Yeah,
when watching the game at the weekend and you could hear the commentary, yes, Norwich had a lot of possession, but they didn't really do anything with it. When we've just watched there, we've watched Town have most of the chances, if not all of them. Never really did I see Norwich get at Town, open them up. I thought the 2 centre-halves were excellent. It's probably the best display I've seen from the centre-halves this year. I thought it was brilliant. But you look at a chance there where Nunez plays them through, possibly could have scored, could have been 3-0. So I think deservedly so. Ipswich had their chances, they scored them. I didn't really see Norwich get many chances. I don't remember any clear-cut ones. I think there was always a bit of tension towards the end of the match, wasn't there? Because we all remember when Chambo scored and closer. You were playing in that match, the one where we went 1-0 up?
No, I wasn't. I'd left by then.
You'd left by then. Yeah. But you obviously remember it. And I think we all remember like having gone ahead against Norwich and then pulling it back, that closer goal being probably the most painful example of that. So you take your eye off the ball for a second, can you? Even when it goes into stoppage time, you just got to see the game out. And Town did so very well.
Yeah, and I think that the way they approached the game was probably unlike Town in terms of letting the other team have most or the majority of the possession and sort of soaking that up and then hitting on the counter-attack almost. But I believe it probably knocked Norwich off their stride as well. They probably didn't expect us to do that. And like we said there, the defenders really stood up to the task whenever it was asked of them. Darragh O'Shea put in a magnificent performance, I have to say. And Greaves alongside him obviously hasn't played too many games in that centre-half position and played really well, and that's the basis you have to have in those sorts of games. You have to have a strong back line, and that sort of pushes the way through to the forward line. You obviously got George Hurst up there, who you know what you're going to get from. He's going to disrupt defenders. Yes, he might lack a little bit of quality at times, but you know he's got the work rate, he has got goals in him, and he put in a very strong performance as well.
And Greaves, of course, getting the assist as well, so yeah, really contributing across the field. A scrappy game, wasn't it, in many ways. A typical derby, a lot of yellow cards in the first half, and that's just part and parcel of playing your local rivals. Yeah, it is. You kind of know, I think everybody knew going into the game there wasn't really going to be much football played in that game, like what we usually see from Town. Even Norwich, we said they did have possession, but I remember the referee had the whistle in his mouth quite a lot. But that's a typical derby game. But again, we go back to it. Norwich had the possession; they didn't really do anything. And I go back to what Tommy said. Town probably set up a bit different to what they usually did, but they had pace in the team, and you can see from the counter-attacks when Jayden broke out with the ball, and then you just see Leaf making probably that unselfish run that he does every week to set George up for that chance. So I think Kieran obviously knew that Norwich were going to have the possession, being the home team, and he obviously knew that he wanted to set up on the counter on that day. It's been an eventful season so far for Marcelino Núñez for a number of reasons. That will have been probably one of his more memorable match days, warming up in front of the snake pit with the fans just giving him a lot of abuse. We all expected it. He expected it. But I think he dealt with it quite well, especially sort of coming onto the pitch. And I mean, listen, he got stuck in, didn't he? But fantastic to see Marcelino Núñez at Carrow Road in the blue and white shirt.
Yeah, and obviously I think it was tasty. It added another dimension to an already edgy match. Obviously, I think he'll probably be the first to admit he was probably lucky to still be on the pitch before he got taken off again. But it threw another element of chaos into the match, and it was almost at a time where maybe Norwich were getting a little bit of a foothold, and it just threw everyone off, and the crowd went at him, and they sort of almost forgot what they were there for at times.
And I think it's quite a smart decision by McKenna, obviously, given that Marcelino was sort of getting quite close. That second booking arguably could have had it earlier on, couldn't he, to take him off. And I think that's a bold move and one that ultimately probably was the right thing to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody, while we were enjoying the game, we were enjoying what we were seeing as Town fans. But yeah, the manager looked at it right, and you could see him on sometimes when the camera went close to him, he was telling him to calm down. And ultimately, Kieran was making the right decision, taking him off. But what would have been great was if he got taken off, having that assist after, that was a great ball through for Azon, and just unluckily he didn't get the assist.
I think it's a great bit of man management, because if he does get sent off, it changes the whole complexion of the
completely.
game. Obviously, it gives them the impetus then to go on against 10 men, and nobody knows what might have happened then. So it's a fantastic piece of management, I believe.
I agree, and it would have energised the crowd, absolutely, wouldn't it? But it wasn't the case, and we talk about the assist could have been obviously a big moment for him, but it didn't matter in the end, did it? So the important thing is we got the 3 points, and
I think for some players they might have sulked being substituted as a substitute, but you see him after the game,
no.
the celebrations with our fans, and it was magnificent to see, and that the whole crowd were backing him, and it was fantastic for me. Obviously, when I was a player, never got to beat Norwich at Carrow Road, so to watch it happen after 20 years as a fan, and it was the first game my little boy has been sat down and actually avidly watched, and he was buzzing as well. Really? So fantastic for our household.
There you go, the first Town win at Carrow Road in a generation, and long may they continue. Anyway, let's look at some of the big moments, other than obviously Núñez coming on and having an impact to the game, starting with the Jayden Philogene penalty. We're going to watch back the decision that led to the penalty, and it's listen, I think different people have different opinions on this. What do you guys make of it? Was it a pen? Was Norwich a little bit hard done by there?
Looking back at it, you can probably 50-50, probably a bit soft, but we spoke about this a bit earlier on. Town, different angles. I'm looking at it again here, and that angle there, I'm looking at it thinking he has caught him.
This one it doesn't.
And then you're slowing it down here. Not very much contact there, but we'll go back to it. We spoke about what Town have been given this year, penalties given against them, not given to them. They all even themselves out, and as cool as you like there from Jayden, you wouldn't actually want anybody else other than him taking them, maybe Clarkey as well. But great composure in a stadium that's obviously, it's very lively at the time.
I think for me, Taylor buys the penalty effectively. Yes, there is a small bit of contact, but if you feel contact in the opposition box, you go down.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go down, he doesn't give the penalty.
Yeah.
Ultimately, yeah. As a defender myself, I'd feel hard done by if that was given against me. But you can see why the officials have given it.
Well, and we say these things do balance themselves over the season, don't they? And Town very unlucky in previous matches not to get penalties, notably the Leicester one. Hursty, I mean, he had a couple of chances leading into that. Big goal at a very big moment, very cool finish through the defender's legs, and great to see him on the score sheet at Carrow Road. Yeah,
brilliant. And I think you see a bit of a difference in Hursty since he's come back, been away with Scotland. I particularly liked him against Birmingham. I thought he roughed up the centre halves perfect, and he done that again at the weekend. And he had a chance just beforehand, didn't score, didn't let that get down, and then he got another chance and he's put it in the back of the net. Perfect.
And Kovacevic has obviously had a bit of a two-way battle with Hurst, made a couple of big saves, but ultimately Hurst won that battle, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think, like you alluded to, he's such a force in terms of using his size and strength to ruffle feathers. And then when he gets his chances, obviously he took that one well, and I think he'll be really pleased with the performance and obviously getting a goal.
As a fellow defender, sort of going through the team one by one, we said we're going to have a bit of a focus on Dara O'Shea. How impressed with him have you been this season, indeed the last few months, when he's really just grown into the captaincy role? And I think we were discussing, we don't think he's missed a game this season, do we? We're just trying to work it out. But either way, as a fellow defender, how impressed have you been by Dara O'Shea?
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and obviously, like you say, he's been given the captaincy this season, and he's really grown into that role. And Saturday's performance epitomised what he has become. You know, he's the stalwart that the other players sort of look at. If he's performing well, the team generally performs well. So he's really grown into that role, and this tackle epitomises his performance. You know. We won't speak about him giving the ball away in the build up to it, but no. And then you look at this reaction. You see what it means to him, to see what it means to the rest of the players, and obviously it's a massive moment for the club.
Seems like an obvious question, but like, how important is the role of a captain in galvanising the troops? We've seen the Town in 5 shots of him, not just in the centre of the pitch with the players in a huddle, but also in the tunnel when he's saying to the referee, no, we go out together. Like, he's a driving force behind that togetherness.
It's not just what you do on the pitch, and Tommy will back me up on this. It's the way you are as a person around the club, the way you are with the staff, the players. Players want to be able to come to you to speak to you about something that they might have that's worrying them, and it's just the way he conducts himself. And again, I think, as we said, I don't think he's missed a game. We spoke, I think it was the Birmingham game, about how he played for Ireland in those playoffs. And I said it's the best I've seen him play for Ireland, and he's carried on that form coming back, you know. So it wasn't easy for him to take over the mantle from Morsey, but I think he's done it perfectly. And if you look at the two names that are usually playing every week, it's him and Matchday. I think that says a lot what Kieran thinks of them two boys, really.
Yeah, those two feel like the spine of the team, don't they? We started to see some of the celebrations from some of the other players there in the pictures we're seeing on the screen there. I think most players had their individual moment with the fans, didn't they? Obviously, we saw Dara O'Shea going up to the crowd. Great moments from Leaf, just throwing himself into the front row of the crowd, waltzing full of passion. Let's take a look at some of those celebrations now. And Tommy, as someone who's played so many games for Ipswich Town, played at Carrow Road, you can understand, I'm sure, what that felt like. Yeah,
absolutely. Obviously, never felt the actual full-time whistle with a victory there, but these moments can be season-defining, you know, to go to Carrow Road, beat them so convincingly, to put yourselves in the driving seat for automatic promotion is what you want. And if you were, at the beginning of the season, if you were said you're going to go to Carrow Road, beat Norwich and be sitting pretty in second in the league, I think we would have taken that.
And also, you beat them at home as well, so they've done the double over them. I think that's what makes it extra special, that they've beaten them twice this year. So, and you can just see by some of the celebrations how much that actually means to the players, and also the fans love to see that kind of stuff. They want to see that players really do care.
Well, and Kieran as well. We've not spoken much about him so far this show. There he is, the fans singing his name. He has masterminded the first double since 1993. And these celebrations, they're iconic, aren't they? The whole team just huddled together in front of the crowd, the fans. It just felt like one big victory for everyone involved.
What I really like about Kieran is that he never gets too high, never gets too low. You never see him over-celebrate or anything like that. He's always the same. He enjoyed that, but he didn't over-celebrate, I know, which he could have done easily. I think that's a really good sign of a manager, good respect as well.
Do you know, a good example of that is the Sarmiento goal against Southampton around this time last season. The cameras go to him and he just tells everyone, calm it down. The stadium was ecstatic, but Kieran's the one going, calm it down, let's see it out. I think that's a really good point you make.
And I think for the Norwich game there, you create a whole new generation of fan by those moments. You know, if that's a young kid that's gone to his first away game at Norwich and come away from that with a 2-0 win, with the fans and the players celebrating together, you've got a lifelong fan now. And it's amazing to see that connection is growing again, because there was a time where there was that fracture between fans and players at the club, and since Kieran's come in, that's really been sewn together now, and you can really see the togetherness of the players and the fans.
My first game was actually Norwich v Ipswich at Carrow Road. We lost 2-1, but still a fan for life. So, yeah, I'm sure the young fans that went and saw that, the passion is definitely going to stay with them for life. Talking about big moments at Carrow Road, you obviously scored at Carrow Road back in 2015, playoff, second leg. Let's watch the goal, and you can talk us through some of those emotions. You mentioned obviously you never had the satisfaction of winning at Carrow, but this is probably his next best thing, isn't it? Talk to us about this match and that memory.
Yeah, well, we'd gone down to 10 men and gone 1-0 down from the resulting penalty, but obviously we got this little moment here, and yeah, honestly, I don't know what was going through my head here. I just lost it, and I knew my family were down that end. We're in with obviously the fans, and it overcome me, and I just sprinted back there, and yeah, fully enjoyed that moment.
I've never seen Tommy run that quick. That must have been the highest speed ever. That was brilliant. So quick there. No, but great, especially, you know, where you've come through the club to see that, to get that. People don't understand that emotion. When you score, everybody likes to score a goal. You score in a derby goal, it means a lot more. So it's great to see stuff like that. It's brilliant.
That goal as well was so big at the moment, it's because obviously Christopher Bear had been sent off. Everything was going against Town in that match, and then up pops Tommy Smith. I mean, an unlikely scorer, you won't mind me saying, and then to level the score. I say an unlikely score. You got quite a few goals from corners and everything, but still massive moment for Town.
No, as an individual moment in my career, that's probably top of the tree in terms of how the emotions, the feeling of that in the moment. Obviously, the result wasn't to be, but in that moment, absolutely brilliant. And I've never hit a high since that individual moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Standing in front of that wall of Town fans, those are them. Yeah. Interesting. Good to hear you recount that as well. What a moment. Okay, let's turn the clock back to roughly on this day last year. In fact, it was on this day a year ago, -1. When talking about doubles, Ipswich Town came quite close to doing a double over Chelsea. We had beaten them earlier in the season here at Portman Road 2-0, went to Stamford Bridge, went 2-0 up. Unfortunately, Chelsea did pull it back to 2-2, but what a great day that was. Let's remind ourselves of that now.
From Suffolk to Stamford Bridge, that's the journey that has been made by the Blue Army this afternoon as Ipswich face Chelsea in the Premier League. George Hurst inside the centre circle. Haven't seen too much of George Hurst so far this afternoon, but here he is on the ball now with Johnson trying to join him in attack. Johnson back to Enciso, and Ipswich totally against the run of play, lead at Stamford Bridge.
It's very similar. It looks like a Leicester team playing out from the back. It's very similar to the team we saw 2 years ago.
Hurst was flicked on to Jack Clark. Clark is approaching the penalty area now, and Ciso inside the box, lifting it towards Hurst, but it's Ben Johnson at the back post. Ipswich have doubled their lead. And it's Chelsea with the ball with Noni Madueke on the right-hand side away from Burgess. And that is a very, very early start. Taken short. Here is Sancho. Sancho finding the top corner, but the final whistle blows, and it's ended in a stalemate in the end here at Stamford Bridge. An entertaining stalemate.
Bittersweet memories there. Town 2-0 up, but in the end having to settle for a point. And when you sort of look back on that moment, a lot of those players were playing against Norwich at the weekend. It just shows what this group of players are capable of. Going to Stamford Bridge and pushing Chelsea all the way. Just shows that this team, I mean, it feels like we're building something special, doesn't it?
Yeah, and if you look at that game there, as you say, a lot of players that played in it played on the weekend. They'll be looking forward to hopefully getting that again next year, and they're putting themselves in a great position to do that. And obviously they'll have the experience of being in the Premier League before. I know they've had to come down into the Championship. Hopefully if we get there again, they'll have that experience and they'll be able to do one better and hopefully stay up if we get up there, which I'm hoping we do.
As a club, and indeed most clubs will probably say this is one game at a time, isn't it? You can't get ahead of yourselves. But that being said, there is only 6 games left of the season, and the run-in is effectively, I mean, it's probably been the run-in for a couple of games now, hasn't it? But a big game tonight, Portsmouth away, 1 of 6 matches that Town have left. I mean, yeah, got to try and go out there and win the match tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, and this will be a completely different proposition to what the Norwich game was. Obviously, Portsmouth are down the bottom fighting for their lives, fighting for every point. They've got a really good crowd down there that backs them week in, week out, so it's a tough place to go. But obviously, we're in the position we are for a reason, and we should be going there looking to take all 3 points tonight and stamp our authority on that second place.
What will the mood be like in the dressing room at the moment? it'd be very focused, I'd imagine, very business-like. Players won't be looking at the table too much. They'll just be focusing on what's coming up next. Do you think, Judgy?
Yeah, exactly. As you said, it'll be one game at a time. They've done that more or less all season. They've literally just concentrated on the next game. Kieran has said it many times. I think there'll be a good atmosphere. There'll be confidence. I think you'll see tonight Ipswich be the team in possession, and you'll see Portsmouth possibly be the team sitting back a bit more. They do have some good players. You know, Bishop up front, he can score goals. Obviously, got Dazelle, Dozza, who was here with us, with me at Ipswich, I think, same as you. They have got decent players, so they'll have to be wary of that. But I would imagine Ipswich will be the ones to take control of this game, and Portsmouth might be the team sitting back a bit more.
Actually did us a bit of a favour at the weekend, didn't they? In fact, Connor Chaplin, of course, the goal scorer against Middlesbrough. I mean, what a fantastic moment that was for Connor Chaplin. And, I mean, it was a great end to the day for Ipswich fans as well, wasn't it? But obviously Chaplin can't play tonight. But yeah, we can't take Portsmouth for granted by any stretch of the imagination. It's a tough game. It's away at Portsmouth, a raucous crowd. They always have good energy, don't they? And one that Town will have to be cautious of.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you're coming off the back of a game that would have been draining mentally, physically, emotionally in the Norwich game, and having to back that up again a few days later. So it will be a test for the boys that are backing it up. I know there've been a few changes tonight, but it's another opportunity to solidify that second place, and almost, I don't think it's out of the question to hunt Coventry down, is it? So if that's what's in the back of people's minds, you want to go and try and get top spot.
Well, Frank Lampard said this week that Coventry are on a title push, which suggests it's not in his head wrapped up. So listen, we'll take each game at a time, but let's not rule anything out. The sky's the limit. But listen, it's all about Portsmouth tonight. Let's take a look at the final 6 fixtures then, because it starts with Portsmouth, and it's not an easy run in this, and you break those games down one by one. Portsmouth are in a relegation battle. They're sat just above the relegation places. Middlesbrough, obviously, we've been in a scrap with them for the top 2 all season. Charlton away. Listen, it's been a happy hunting ground in previous seasons, Charlton away, but Charlton, they beat us 3-0 here at Portman Road earlier this season, so that's not going to be an easy game. West Brom are obviously in a scrap. Southampton arguably in a battle for the top 2, and then QPR in the final game of the season is, you know, another game is so far off, you can't even think about that yet, but it's a tough run in that.
Yeah, and if you look at 4 of the teams there, 4 of the teams are actually playing for stuff. You've got Portsmouth fighting for their lives. As Tommy said tonight, they'll be at it. It'll be a different type of emotion for the boys from the weekend, so they have to be ready. That Fratton Park can be a really difficult place to go to. Middlesbrough, obviously, they know they've dropped points. They'll want to try come to Portman Road, and they'll have to try win. And then West Brom struggling, Southampton trying to get into the playoffs. So they are tough games. But again, it will be literally one game at a time, and obviously deal with this one tonight, and then they can look forward to Sunday, hopefully barring the right result.
Obviously, promotion in 2 of the last 3 seasons. So promotion is something that Ipswich Town have experience of, which I think probably helps at this point of the season. And actually, within those 2 promotion seasons, big games consistently at the end of the season. Barnsley away, Peterborough away was a big game in the League One season. Coventry away, Hull away in the lead up to the Championship promotion. So, okay, listen, the playing squad has changed somewhat, but the mentality of the club remains the same. The manager remains the same. The chairman remains the same. And knowing you've got big games coming up in the run-in is something Ipswich Town have experience with.
Yeah, definitely. And that's obviously going to help. And I think if you come through, especially tonight and Saturday's games with 2 more wins, I think you're nearly there, and they'll know that. You know that they won't be talking about it amongst themselves, but they'll know in the back of their minds that 2 more big performances this week, and it's almost done.
Everyone's been getting their calculators out, working out what we'd possibly need, but I don't think we're at that point yet, are we? Just got to take each game at a time, haven't you? And beat Portsmouth tonight. If that's what happens, go from there. I think that's probably the best way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Again, we keep going back to each game at a time. But I agree with Tommy on this. If you look at these 2 games, it could be nearly done by them, but we'll go by tonight, and then we'll move on to Sunday after that.
I'm getting nervous just talking about the run-in, so let's lighten things up, shall we, with a bit of a fun feature with one of the Town players. In fact, it's the Ipswich Town leading scorer, Jack Clark. Listen, we all know how good he is at scoring goals, but how good is he at darts? Let's find out.
Welcome everybody to the Town TV Darts feature, brought to you by Harrows. Today we have Jack Clark, who is looking to get to the top of the Town TV leaderboard. Good luck everyone. 9 darts to get the highest score possible. Here we go.
Oh no.
7.
Jesus.
Is it 8? Was it a double 1? Okay, that's fine. I think you can afford one bad. 12, 24, 34, 42 total, 3 more to go.
Bad luck, innit?
Come on, big finish. Oh, he's got the treble 20. That, I feel, was a big dart.
It's not enough, is it?
108, final score.
It's not enough. It started terribly. I'm going to keep throwing now.
He's going to keep going.
Oh no. Maybe I fatigued before we started. So it was like
108. I mean, it was.
Not enough,
listen,
is
I don't think it's going to be enough to get top of the leaderboard, but for the sake of Town TV, we are going to go against each other. So I've got 9 darts to beat 108.
It's a bad luck if you lose.
I'll be honest, I don't.
With the board in the office, it's a bad luck.
Here we go. Let's try.
Just banned it.
I can just walk away now. That's the best dart I've ever thrown in my life. What is going on? Okay, that's a bit more managing. 85. 85, 108 to beat. What is going on? Why am I suddenly good at darts? That was a double 1. 41. What are we on now, Will?
127.
127. I'm getting nervous now. Okay, that's more like it. Oh yeah, okay. Will?
163.
163, come on!
Okay, so there we go. I beat Jack Clark at darts, but anyway, just a bit of fun.
Seems like you hustled him there, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I can assure you, I am rubbish at darts. Anyway, let's move on.
Not as rubbish as Jack Clark.
Hopefully that didn't affect him too much, but he then went on. I think he scored in the next game after we filmed that, so maybe that was a distraction he needed to get back to scoring ways. Listen, this is obviously the second time we've played Portsmouth this season. They came here earlier on in the season in September, and Ipswich Town were 2-1 winners. Let's remind ourselves of that match.
The sun is shining, the skies are clear, and hopefully this afternoon we shall be able to enjoy a full game of uninterrupted Championship football as Ipswich host Portsmouth. Well, Egley, Furlong, direct ball to Hurst, and actually with a hint of fortune the ball reaches Jens Kajusta, and Kajusta neat and tidy on the ball again in midfield, away from Koznovsky. Here's Philogene just outside the penalty area. He's done it again! He has done it again, Jaden Philogene! His rich vein of form at Portman Road continues! From Kajusta, that makes him really stand out in the Championship midfield. Furlong, ball down the right channel for Schmodix to chase. Schmodix will reach it before it goes out of play. Into Hurst, and Hurst got in. Here is Waller Egley. Crossfield, left-footed ball with his pinpoint for Kajusta. And Kajusta now into the penalty area on his right foot, and he just flicks it on. O'Shea beats Bishop to it, and now Hurst has found the flick on to Sam Schmodix, and Schmodix has the freedom of Portman Road into the penalty area. Schmodix getting back, and he can't find the finish. Philogene, good spot, finds Matasiwa in midfield. Matasiwa in turn into Davis. Davis inside the box, across to Hurst. That is brilliant from Ipswich Town. Collected from Palmer and has to turn smartly away from Gazelle. And now the ball in behind for Ivan Adon. Adon up against Knight. Adon hits the base of the post. Swift with the corner from the far side. In it comes towards Pack. And Portsmouth have scored. Adon winning the ball in midfield, but that is game over. And Ipswich have held on.
Full-time Town 2, Portsmouth 1 earlier this season, of course, at Portman Road back in September. And I feel the score possibly was a little bit generous on Portsmouth. I mean, obviously they got the 92nd minute consolation, but a comfortable win for Town, watching those highlights back and, of course, remembering that game.
Yeah, it looked very comfortable, didn't it, when we were watching that game? And obviously Jaden scoring one of his great goals coming in off the line. And I think if we get anything like that tonight, I think the Town fans will be pretty happy.
We'll talk a bit more about the starting lineup in a moment's time. Jaden Philogene, what a player, by the way. He was brilliant against Norwich, his first start for a while, and then you watch back, obviously, moments like that. He's got some seriously good goals in his locker, doesn't he, Tommy?
Oh, you see the goals that he's scored this year. He's a sort of player that strikes fear into opposition teams. You know that especially with Leaf behind him, that's a dangerous combination because Leaf does those massive overlapping runs which sucks the defender away to give Jayden the space to come inside. And then once he gets that half a yard of space, he's really dangerous. So he's a fantastic player, and he's the sort of player that you want in your team. At times this season when Town have been struggling to break teams down, it's a bit of little individual magic that he's produced that has got us results.
Absolutely. One, of course, was the Norwich goal that he scored. Absolute worldie that he's got a couple of goals now against Norwich. He'll obviously be remembered for that long after this season. Listen, tonight's game, obviously a different prospect. And we'll address the elephant in the room. It's the third time that this fixture's been scheduled. Actually, we were going to do both of the previous ones, weren't we? So nice to finally do a game with you. I don't think I've ever known the same fixture be postponed twice in a season. It probably used to happen when pitches were, well, they never used to cancel games, did they? But either way, we finally got this game on, and finally we're playing Portsmouth away.
Yeah, finally, and it's come. With the game being called off twice, it's actually feels like it's put Ipswich in a good position having this game in hand. There's no way the game can be called off tonight with the way the weather's been. So I think everybody's looking forward to this, and third time lucky.
I got a text message from Jess Winlow, the director of Town TV earlier. I thought, oh no, not again, just before the game. But thankfully, it was something about tonight's show. Listen, going into this game, let's be honest, great form, because you come off the win against Norwich. Emotions obviously high on the day, but it will have felt great for the Town players. So, bit of a spring in the step tonight, do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, definitely come into it in confident frame of mind, and now it's about backing it up. We mentioned it briefly earlier. You've had the emotion and all the pressure that comes with playing against your local rivals. Now it's about turning up the professionalism to beat a team that are fighting for their lives and putting a performance worthy of getting you automatic promotion. And these are the sort of games where it can be sort of won or lost, that promotion place. So they need to back it up tonight, and I've got every confidence that they will do that.
Yeah, we're at the business end of the season where we can't really afford slip-ups at this point. It's no such thing as like a must-win game, but like you want to get the points tonight, don't you? And Kieran's sort of spoken about the celebrations against Norwich needing to be short-lived. Listen, enjoy the moment, which we did on the day. Remember all those like shots of the players in front of the crowd, but you've got to just put that now behind you and focus on tonight.
Yeah, definitely. As Tommy said, you don't want to be complacent. You are playing a different type of team. You've come away from the emotion of the game against Norwich. Now you're playing against Portsmouth, team fighting for their lives. They'll be really up for it, and as players, we've been there. You do sometimes you're at the top, and then sometimes there's a bit of a come down emotional-wise after a different type of game. So I think that'll be the one thing Kieran will have mostly on the players, is that don't be complacent. Make sure you're up for this game as much as you were for Norwich.
Yeah,
and I think making the changes that he has made gives impetus to those players coming into the team to sort of stake their place for a continued berth in the team. I think if you keep the same 11, that emotional hangover can sort of creep into a midweek fixture at times. So to freshen it up again is a fantastic bit of management, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll look at the starting lineup in a moment's time and pick apart some of those changes that Tommy's mentioned there. Just going back to what we're saying about it being like a different type of game. Obviously, Portsmouth are in a relegation battle. They're just 1 point above the bottom three. It's a tough place to go at the best of times. Completely different match than obviously the match against Norwich. But equally, there, I suppose, are similarities. It's a tough away game against a team that's going to bring a good atmosphere with them. Are you expecting a similar sort of... What are you expecting from Portsmouth tonight? Are you expecting to play with a low block to try to counter Ipswich's high press, or any thoughts on how they might shape up tonight?
I think with obviously been playing at Fratton Park before, it does have a lively atmosphere. They are good fans. You've played there as well. It's very lively there. I would think Ipswich will be the team mostly in possession. I think Portsmouth will probably sit in a mid-block, maybe even lower, a bit lower, try to catch Ipswich on the transition, knowing that they'll have a bit more of the ball. But that's down to Town, just to move the ball quickly, hopefully get them moving them from side to side, and then find those spaces in the midfield for maybe Nunes or whoever's playing in there, and hopefully getting on the half turn and feeding your striker.
We talk about Town coming into this game with a bit of momentum. Obviously, Portsmouth will come into this with their own belief. They've just beaten one of the best teams in the league away as well. I mean, what a win that was for them. Connor Chaplin with the goal. He's not playing tonight because he's obviously our player, but they're going to have a bit of belief tonight, won't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic result for them and a much needed one at this time of the season. So again, they'll be buoyant and playing at home. They'll want to give their home fans something to cheer about as well. And it's going to be a really tough game. And they've got good players. They probably on paper should not be anywhere near where they are in the league. So we cannot take this game lightly. And they've got some good individual players in there that can create things out of nothing themselves. So we have to be on our guard and at it tonight to make sure that we get all 3 points.
Yeah, we certainly will. Right, we've spoken a bit about what Ipswich Town's starting 11 will be. Let's look at it now in detail and pick apart some of Kieran McKenna's choices for the starting lineup today. So I think it's 5 changes Kieran McKenna has made over the team that played against Norwich. You've got Walton, Kipre, Matasiwa, Neil Hurst, Furlong, McAteer, Greaves, O'Shea, Nunez and Jack Clark. You joked earlier about Nunez probably being fresh after only having had 20 minutes against Norwich. Obviously, Philogene rested. Leif Davis is actually his partner gave birth yesterday, so congratulations, Leif, if you are watching. He's obviously going to miss, which, you know, it's going to be a miss for us, but family first, of course. Thoughts, guys, on the starting lineup?
Yes, I think good management, as Tommy said, the come down of the weekend against Norwich. Some of those players, if you look at the 3 players he's brought in, Nunez, McAteer and Clark, the 3 players in behind Hurst, it gives you that little bit, hopefully power and speed, maybe that some of the boys would have used up quite a lot on the weekend against Norwich. So not surprised, and obviously with Jaden coming back as well from his injury, put in a great shift. So his will probably more likely be looking after him more than him, you know, not being ready. It's just probably looking after his body after the long injury. So very good, very happy to see that. And obviously I thought Jack Taylor was brilliant at the weekend. So he puts a lot of running in, you know, Matasiwa more or less marshals the middle of the pitch. Jack gets about the pitch really well. So not surprised to see Dan come in, maybe giving Jack a bit of a rest as well.
Yeah, Tommy, sort of following on from your comments earlier about Kieran, perhaps freshening things up to try to deal with not just the physical difficulties of playing at Carrow, the emotional sort of difficulties as well. It's worth mixing things up, I think, tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you look at the players that have come into the team, it shows the signal of the strength of the squad that arguably they could all fit into anybody's perceived best 11. We've got some, obviously Jack Clark's had a fantastic season. Nunez is a brilliant midfielder playing in behind Hurst tonight. And Casey McAteer, obviously after his goal the other week, is going to be in confident form and wanted to stake his place for being in the team more regularly as well. So, and Kipre coming back in, he's been magnificent all season. So it's a really strong squad, and that's the joy that Kieran has, is that he can make these changes and not weaken his team.
Every week we look at the starting lineup here on Town TV, and we almost feel like there's an element of surprise at just how strong this Town team is. And they're building momentum, and the aim is for Ipswich Town to become an established Premier League team and kick on even from there. The squad is getting stronger and stronger at each transfer window. That's the aim of what Kieran and Mark Ashton are trying to achieve. And when you look at that starting lineup, and we'll look at the bench in just a moment. In fact, let's take a look at the bench now, because we can see, obviously, what Kieran's options are from the bench. But there is serious strength and depth. We've been saying it all season. It never sort of ceases to be an impressive sight.
No, exactly, and we spoke about this a lot about when Kieran rotates his team. I know some fans, we want a consistent team, but Kieran's been proven right with what he's done. More or less every player here in this squad has probably played over 10, 15 games this year. Every player that's come in has minutes under their belt. They're ready to play. So Kieran, again, has been proven right in what he's done. And every time a player does come in, as Tommy said, they're putting a claim in to be in the team for the next game. As I said, Casey had his best game probably for the club against Birmingham. Probably wanted to play against Norwich. Now he's getting another chance, and he should be full of confidence. It was great to see him play as well as he did against Birmingham, because you could see he was lacking a bit of confidence. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him play tonight, to see if we can get what we saw again from Birmingham.
Absolutely. We've known the potential's been there all season. It's great to see that transcending into a goal and a really good performance against Birmingham City. I mean, looking at that bench, listen, Kieran always turns to the bench at some point during a match. It's inevitable we're going to see changes coming on, Tommy.
Absolutely, and you look at the names on the bench there, like I alluded to with the starting lineup, all of those players there, if they were in your starting 11, you wouldn't be unhappy with it. So
Right from Palmer through to Mehmeti, every
all of
single
those
player,
players,
yeah.
And substitutes can win you games. So that they'll all be ready. You know, man management is a massive part of football these days, and I think Kieran has that spot on as well from what I hear coming out of the training ground. And these players will know that they're going to be called upon at some point, and they'll be ready to take the ball by the horns when given that opportunity and try and win these 3 points.
Absolutely. Strong starting lineup, strong subs bench. What about today's opposition? One player that won't be lining up against Town is Connor Chaplin, ineligible to play against his parent club. But for the rest of the team news for Portsmouth, today's team that Town are facing is our lead commentator, Glenn Wheeler.
Yeah, thanks, James. Well, John Massinho, a former Wickham teammate of our co-commentator tonight, Ian Westlake, makes 4 changes to the lineup that started Portsmouth's shock-late win at Middlesbrough that came about from their only effort on target. Number 1, Nicholas Schmidt, wasn't fit to feature in the reverse fixture at Portman Road, but the Austrian starts his 32nd championship game of the season tonight, playing behind a backline that sees Conor Shaughnessy replace Madiodo Dia at centre-back. In midfield, Andre Dazelle, who made 93 appearances for Town after coming through the club's academy from the age of 8, is partnered by skipper Marlon Pack. Pack, as we saw earlier in the show, scored Pompey's late consolation when these two sides last met. Talking of late goals, as you mentioned, James, Ipswich fan favourite Connor Chaplin was responsible for Portsmouth's 97th minute winner at the Riverside on Saturday, but he's ineligible to face his parent club, so in comes John Swift. Colby Bishop leads the line for the hosts. He's found the back of the net 6 times in 10 career appearances against Town. On the bench, French winger Florian Bianchini returns from injury to feature in a matchday squad for the first time since November, but Santos loanee Gustavo Caballero misses out with a hamstring injury.
Thank you very much indeed. Listen, obviously Connor Chaplin not playing for Portsmouth tonight. He's one of our players, so obviously ineligible to face Ipswich Town. Do you think that's a bit of a miss for them, given that he obviously scored the winning goal for them against Middlesbrough at the weekend?
Well, he's a fan favourite here, isn't he, James? And obviously he's got his history at Portsmouth coming through their academy and starting his career. We know what Connor Chaplin can do. He's a mercurial talent, isn't he? And I think coming up against the side without Connor Chaplin is probably better for Town.
Yeah, certainly is. Just before we move on to Ipswich Town's Player on a Day interview, a little bit of connection with you and Portsmouth's manager. You did your sports science degree with him, was that right?
Yeah, through the PFA, we did our sports science degree together. So he's an intelligent, diligent, hard-working man, and I'm sure that's what his teams will be like as well. So yeah, just a little tidbit of information and a connection.
Interesting stuff. Good to hear that insight. Right, let's catch up with one of Ipswich Town's players, Casey McAteer, obviously scoring a great goal against Birmingham the other weekend. He's with Town TV's Sammy Carter.
Casey, quick turnaround from Saturday. You must be looking to keep the momentum into this one.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a big week for us. You know, we had a real tough game Saturday, like a cup final for the boys, which we dealt with really well. Obviously got the good 3 points that we wanted, and it's how I would take it into tonight's game, looking to get the 3 points and taking it as we come. Yeah.
Back into the starting lineup for yourself, hopefully back in the goals as well, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's about the team getting the result. But yeah, definitely hoping to add some more qualities to the game tonight and show people what I can do. So yeah, looking to continue on that.
Obviously, this is now the 3rd time we've tried to play Portsmouth, so a lot of focus on those, I suppose, over the last few days. So you must be knowing how we can beat them today. Yeah,
like you said, we've analysed them quite a lot now. Obviously, with the 2 games being postponed, but we're fully ready. We all feel really good in there. The boys are in good shape, good spirits. Obviously, coming off the weekend, but it's about how we implement our game here tonight. Taking nothing for granted. They're going to be fighting for their lives tonight, so we need to take full respect towards them and show them what we're all about tonight. Yeah.
Town winger Casey McAteer with Sam Carter. We're running out of time, so unfortunately we can't delve too much into final thoughts here, but just quickly on Casey McAteer. Seems like he has a solid head on his shoulders, doesn't he? He speaks very well and finding form at the right time of the season. Like, good player, smart guy by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. So he speaks very well, and it's good to see him now. He's getting a bit of a run in the team, and he's had a long season, as in hasn't played too much. So he's been waiting for his opportunities, and hopefully his form has come at the right time for Ipswich with the last 6 games coming up. And again, it's a chance for him to stake his claim to play again at the weekend.
Certainly is. We're going to hand over to the commentary team soon, but before we do, score predictions tonight. I think there's only been one accurate score prediction all season, which was Westy predicting somehow that we'd win 4-1 at Swansea. He nailed that. Since then, when I've been covering Town games, no one's got it right. So it's there for the taking. If either of you fancy having a go at what the score could be tonight.
2-1 Town.
He's took my score, so I'll have to go 3-1 then. I'll go and add another goal onto it.
2-1 was the previous fixture, by the way. Goal scorers?
I'm going to go Hursty. I think he's been on a good run, and I think Clarkey's due a goal. He's been doing really well, so I'm going to go Hurst 2, Hurst 2 and Clarkey for 1 as well.
Good stuff.
I'll go Hurst and Azon scoring 1 off the bench.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully those predictions do come true. If you are watching in select international regions, £10 for a match pass where you'll hear the commentary from Glenn Wheeler and Ian Westlake. Next match is, of course, Middlesbrough at home next Sunday. Curly's going to be bringing you coverage of Matchday Live on that one. Thank you to our sponsors, Fleximize, and thank you to everybody in the Free Lions Lounge who have turned up for a special viewing right here in Portman Road of tonight's match against Portsmouth. Listen, all that's next now is for the full match, and of course Glenn and Ian will be bringing you live commentary of that. Good luck to Ipswich Town. Thank you very much for tuning in wherever it is you've tuned in from. We'll be back for the Middlesbrough game on Sunday. Fingers crossed for the boys, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Just like football, business moves fast. And when you need funding, there's no time to wait. At Fleximize, we keep things simple. No penalties, no red cards, just fast, flexible business loans. We only ask for the essentials and you'll get a decision within 24 hours. Once approved, the funds are in your account the same day. Fleximize, let's fund your goals.
When we started this, did we ever think we'd have a partnership with a football club? Absolutely not. This is beyond our wildest dreams. We pretty much exclusively hire graduates at Halo. We're very proud of our Suffolk roots. Halo's a pretty passionate, positive, enthusiastic place generally, but when you've also got what's going on at the football club, and it's just lending passion and enthusiasm.